Impact of stakeholder management on risk management. First, we are going to see the impact of stakeholder management on risk management. Subsequently, we are going to see the impact of risk management on stakeholder management. This is like what we have seen for the other knowledge areas. Risk management and stakeholder register. After identifying and assessing and analyzing the stakeholder needs and expectations, their inputs are taken to create the risk management plan, which is created in plan risk management process. In other words, the stakeholder register will be acting as an input to plan risk management process, which creates the risk management plan, and it is a key document prepared because this plan will be subsequently used as an input to rest of the planning processes of risk management knowledge area. Can you tell what are the other processes where risk management plan will act as an input? Of course, risk management plan is going to act as an input to identify risk. Then we have perform qualitative risk analysis, perform quantitative risk analysis, plan risk responses. Then we have implement risk responses. There too, the risk management plan is going to act as an input. And the final process of monitor risk, there too, risk management plan is going to act as an input. The risk management plan contains all the details with respect to methodology, that is risk related methodology or approach, roles and responsibilities for risk management, budget, schedule related information, that is how much money will be needed, how much time will be needed, and risk thresholds. This should be prepared in consultation with stakeholders. This is very important. Hence, the stakeholder register is acting as an input to the plan risk management process. Risk threshold is set in this process of plan risk management after consulting with the stakeholders. So risk threshold you just do not set on your own. It is an enterprise environmental factor, as we have seen before. It can be customized with respect to your project, but you have consultations with your stakeholder before setting the risk threshold for your project. Stakeholder register is also acting as an input to identify risk process, as the stakeholder will help in risk identification. You are not going to identify all the risks. Your team members, other stakeholders are going to help you in this regard. The stakeholder register can be checked to see who can be the risk owners, because potential risk owners are determined in the identify risk process. So the stakeholder register is also acting as an input to identify risk process. If risk owners are not finalized in identify risk process, then they are confirmed or finalized in perform QLRA process, that is qualitative risk analysis. Hence, stakeholder register also acts as an input to perform QLRA. So if you can decide on the risk owners, you decide it in identify risk process. If you can't, then it will be confirmed and finalized in perform qualitative risk analysis process, and that is the reason stakeholder register also is going to act as an input to perform QLRA process. Next is the risk responses and associated response actions are developed in the plan risk responses process. So that we know in plan risk responses process, the risk register is going to be updated. For every risk, you will have mitigation strategies and associated actions. Every strategy will be accompanied with some actions. Hence, the stakeholder register also acts as an input to this process, because the risk response owners and risk response action owners can be decided. So risk owner is different. Risk action owners are going to be different, because if it is a big risk and you have 4 or say 20 action item to address that risk, then you need more stakeholders to be appointed or put as risk response owners or risk response action owners, and that is why the stakeholder register is also an input to plan risk responses process. So this is represented diagrammatically here. Stakeholder register is an input to plan risk management, identify risk, perform QLRA, and plan risk responses process. Can you see how important this document is for risk management?